Hey y'all, it is Mary, and I'm excited to introduce the topic of the month for April, which is core wounds. I know that sounds like maybe really deep and maybe a little bit intimidating. That idea of like, ooh, this is going to be a little uncomfortable, and it might be, but I think that this is one of my favorite things to talk about. If you are inside of the Fully Alive Circle membership, if you've been listening to the Living Fully Alive podcast, you know that I've been talking about really wanting to go deeper with my audience and just getting a sense that all of the superficiality of social media and all of that is just not enough and is not our ticket towards healing, towards empowerment, towards freedom, towards living fully alive. And we've got to sometimes look at the challenging, deep stuff that is really keeping us blocked and stuck. And this is a concept that I work with my one-on-one clients all the time, because what I notice is that no matter what is showing up in their life, no matter what is coming up in their relationships, in their business, and their relationship to God or towards their body, there is this sort of originating core wound that is sort of below the surface of everything that's showing up here. So this month on the podcast, inside of the Circle membership, we're really going to explore what is a core wound and hopefully help you identify what your core wound is and begin to notice how that is sort of a theme in your life. How no matter what gets triggered from some external source, it comes back to this issue. And it usually starts, you've guessed it, in childhood. Like there's usually some originating event. Now, this could be chronic trauma. This could be a traumatic event or a series of events that have taken place. Some that feel like big T trauma and some that are like little t trauma. So there's no qualification of what that has to be in order to be considered something that kind of creates a core wound, but it's unique to you. And it usually stems from either rejection of some kind, abandonment of some kind, or betrayal of some kind. And so what happens is we start out in the world feeling connected, feeling innocent, feeling love, feeling a sense of oneness. And then we have this event that takes place, whether that is rejection, abandonment, or betrayal, that leads us to a place of feeling separate. And we begin to identify and have this understanding that something is wrong with me. I'm not enough, fill in the blank because of XYZ reason. And then we start crafting our personality as children, when our brains aren't fully developed, to handle this sense of abandonment, rejection, or betrayal. And so our perception of who we are gets kind of masked and stirred up with this survival response to the little t or big T trauma, i.e. the core wound. And all of a sudden, everything that we do, everything that we say, our behaviors, everything that we're demonstrating really at its base, at its root, at its core, is to try to prove ourselves, to get love, to get acceptance. And so it's really interesting when we start peeling back the layers, we can begin to notice, oh, this thing that I'm doing, the way that I'm hustling, the way that I'm working, the way that I'm trying to lose weight, the way that I'm trying to become sexy, none of those things are bad in and of themselves. But when they're motivated out of that wound, when we're trying to make ourselves more pleasing, more valuable, more worthy, more deserving, more loving or lovable, more enough, that's where we need to go in and look at that core wound and begin to bring some healing to that space. So it's going to be a powerful month. I'm really excited to dive deep with you inside of the Circle membership. I'm excited for those of you who aren't in that, but are listening to the podcast. I'm excited to have some beautiful conversations around core wounds. So just sending you guys so much love, so much light, and I'll see you inside of the podcast and inside of the membership.